Sometimes numbers don't tell the full story. What if I told you that an NBA player went from being statistically the worst player in the NBA to being an all-star and receiving a $194 million contract extension in less than 2 years? Today, I'm going to tell you about the spectacular rise of star NBA point guard Darius Garland. Following an unprecedentedly short NBA season due to COVID-19 in 2019 to the 2020 season, an article came out with the evidence and statistics backing the narrative that rookie point guard Darius Garland was the very worst player in the NBA that season. Darius Garland came in at dead last in win shares, value over replacement player, and ESPN's real plus or minus. Now, these are stats that were designed to give a more in-depth perspective of what a player is doing during his time on the floor, offensively, defensively, and how he's helping his team. And though the numbers are the numbers, it doesn't really give a good perspective of why Darius Garland's rookie year went the way that it did. So I don't believe that in 2019 to 2020, Darius Garland was the worst player in the NBA. Now, a lot of people may say, well, that doesn't really matter because he was just a rookie. Your rookie year, you're new, you're getting acclimated to things, you're not expected to succeed. But the problem with that being is Darius Garland was a top 5 pick. He went number 5 in the 2019 NBA draft. So he's expected to perform. Not only is he expected to perform in a good way and put up good numbers, but he's expected to perform like a top 5 pick, like the future of someone's franchise, like a cornerstone. So why didn't he perform like a cornerstone piece, like a franchise point guard? Well, here's why. The very first issue was that he was coming off of an injury. In his only season in college, Darius Garland injured his knee only 5 games into the season. So that means that Darius Garland only played 5 games of collegiate basketball. Now, in that 5 games, he averaged over 16 points, shot over 40%, almost 50% from the 3-point line, and shot 53% from the field. So even with missing most of the season, that alone was enough to show NBA GMs that glimpse of greatness that he can have, was enough to show them that flashy potential, and that was enough to make him a top 5 pick in the NBA draft. So he missed the whole season of college, spent pretty much the entire spring and summer leading up to the draft rehabbing an injury. And then after he got drafted, spent that entire season rehabbing that same injury with the Cavs. So Darius Garland was essentially a high school player who played in a few games in college and basically made the transition from being a high school player going straight to the NBA in a starting line with a struggling team with a knee injury. And if that isn't enough adversity, then we come to problem number 2, the fit. As a Cleveland Cavaliers fan, I can tell you that from the start, Darius Garland being in the backcourt with another small 6-foot point guard, Collin Sexton, was not a good fit. The problem with this was that Collin Sexton at the time, and probably still is, he was such a ball-dominant guard. Like, he always needed to have the ball. He wasn't the best passer. He wasn't the best at getting his teammates into the game. Nothing against him, but like, that was his game. Like, his game was being a primary ball handler and attacking the basket. And Darius Garland coming into the league was more of a facilitating point guard. Wasn't that used to playing off ball, was used to playing with the ball in his hands also. So the fit with them two next to each other initially wasn't that great. At the time, the Cavs were a tanking team, so there wasn't a lot of winning going on. There wasn't a lot of winning culture coming up, and the Cavs also didn't have that veteran leadership. At the time, the Cavs leader of the team was Kevin Love, and Kevin Love wasn't even playing basketball for the Cavs. He was missing games. When he was on the court, he seemed frustrated. He seemed like he didn't even want to be a part of the team, and the chemistry just wasn't there. Tying all that together, it mixed up to be a recipe for disaster for Darius Garland, and his numbers were very revealing of that. And now we talk about the rise. How did Darius Garland get out of this situation? How did he go from being statistically, on paper, the worst player in the NBA to being one of the best and receiving a $194 million max contract? Well, unfortunately, the rise somewhat began with the fall of one of his teammates, the injury to Collin Sexton. Only a few games into the season, Collin Sexton went down with an injury similarly to the injury that Darius Garland sustained in college, and Collin Sexton, just like Darius Garland, missed the remainder of the season. This allowed for Darius Garland to become the primary ball handler. He was able to bring the ball up court, set plays into motion, was able to really be the floor general and run the floor because he didn't have another player on his team that needed to have the ball so much. This was truly his first full season of a normal season. He got a normal offseason without all the COVID limitations and everything. He got a normal regular season in terms of his play because he got to be the primary ball handler, and it wasn't a condensed season due to COVID. Something else that really helped him out was that there weren't any expectations on him. People already started to write him off as a bust or as an average player, and he was able to fly under the radar that season and really get in his bag. There weren't any expectations of him to be a star that season, so his growth got to be able to be organic. And due to that, his numbers skyrocketed. In the 2021-22 season, Darius Garland doubled his assist numbers from about 3.6 assists his rookie year to about 8.6 assists his third year in the NBA. He averaged around 21 points per game and became an all-star for the very first time, along with his teammate Jarrett Allen. He was top 10 in the league in assists, and also he led his team to the NBA play-in tournament. He got to do his own thing that season, and he took full advantage. And that earned himself a 5-year, $194 million contract extension. I made this video to show you that no matter how bad things are looking, no matter how many people give up on you, as long as you never give up on yourself, you can make your dreams come true. It didn't matter how many people wrote Darius Garland off, he never wrote himself off. He put his head down, and he got to work, and now he's making a lot of money because of it. So if you want to make your dreams come true, remember, put your head down, get to work, and get at least 1% better every single day. Peace.